Watch for a lookout, I should say, for a clearing of 160 again. This one could try to make a move above the 1 3/4 and make a move into 2. That's STAK. How's AEHL? Another one I had trouble trading today, and you can kind of see why. It would make area highs, then immediately retrace, losing VWAP multiple times. I felt this was a bit of a tougher trade, maybe a little tougher than the chart actually shows there. USBC was far and away my best trade. I had a bias that this was going to hit $1, especially having gotten up to 88 pennies. Usually, you glance at that dollar, it didn't quite happen. So there was certainly a convicted seller in the high 80s. And here we are, though. We're below 80 pennies, but we're still holding VWAP. What I don't like about this is the umpteen amount of lower highs. It feels like it might be just setting up here for a loss of the volume weighted average price. And the big name on the street yesterday was BuzzFeed, ripping in the aftermarket at around 530. It didn't quite make it anywhere near the highs that we saw yesterday, which was about 2 1/4. This one couldn't even clear 2 pre-market, after the bell, or otherwise. It's been basically sideways, which isn't that bad if you're looking for a multi-day play. So watch out for tomorrow to hold yesterday's close and to actually take out that 2 1/4. So if you have side charts, leave BuzzFeed on there. You never know how this one's going to end up. And then TDIC was also a good one, Joey. This one got up into about 245. We had a much bigger print, though, in the pre-market into 260. I had a bias that this one was going to hit 250. Another good trade we had here. We'll close negative on the day. We were positive yesterday, negative today. Hopefully, we'll end up the week green. But for the moment, we'll have to wait and see what tomorrow brings. A small cap gap or roll, but you guys wait no longer. The big boys, as they're known, are on that side of the screen. I'll see everybody tomorrow bright and early.
What up, everybody? I'm just taking the tea bag out of the tea live because I didn't get a chance to do it. No, I'm not in the chat just yet because I haven't found the. I guess we're gonna mosey into the afternoon stream, let everyone kind of get back in. As I obviously will know, usually I'm sitting next to Joe. I can say something about the Ballhead Brotherhood. But,
yeah, you did. But I didn't let you know, though. That's the thing. That's my fault. I did it.
No, it's not your fault.
Oh, okay.
This one is entirely on me.
Oh.
I have been unable to convince a certain 9-year-old that it's okay for Daddy to shave his head all the way again. I don't get it. I feel like it's all gone. It's going anyways.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that big of a deal. But there's this attachment to my non-existent hair that my daughter has. So even though I have a strong desire, I love it. It's easy. It's just my preference. But
I got to deal with Sean's. I'm gonna do this.
If she turns and says, "Daddy, don't."
Oh, yeah?
Those are words that you will immediately don't shave your hair. Okay, sweetheart. But I would really like to. Please don't. Okay,
really?
I'll keep it. But Daddy has a bald spot I don't like, and I love the look of when it's bald, and it's easier to, I don't have to worry about it. It's easier for maintenance. It's less work for me. But I like it. I like it when you have hair.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go with the message.
I
have to.
I look at pictures of my old self with hair, and I'm like, I don't even know that person. Like, it's crazy.
You know the only thing that matters?
What's that, brother?
The person we are today is better than the person we are the day before. Take it all in stride.
You know what I mean?
You know what the theme of yesterday was?
I got that.
VWAP.
VWAP, yeah.
So right now, I'm looking at VWAP in 2 directions. One, all right, I left you guys with the lesson of the day about why I was getting out of GitLab and how even if it went all the way to VWAP, I had to follow my rules. Yeah, it got all the way to VWAP. So we ended up leaving you with the top of that, but it's holding VWAP here. This is the test. It has not done much of a confirmation. Like it hasn't touched it and gone underneath. That hasn't really happened, but I'm looking for the long off of GitLab while also simultaneously, remember SMCI from this morning, it got dumped. The red line is the volume weighted average price there. This is going in the other direction. This is popping into the volume weighted average price and trying to find some resistance. So those are the 2 stocks, still ones from the morning that we're continuing to look at here. For sure, as the market's trying to battle back. We saw that 2% mark, and then we made a bit of a right-hand turn here, Joe. And when I say right-hand turn, I guess technically it's a left-hand turn because if you're going this way, you turn left to go up.
Yeah.
But either way, got to that 2%. We're flying higher. If the market can't get to VWAP, right, then to me, if it's already got resistance up here in theory, getting into the volume weighted average price, if I can find something turning around while it's unable to break through, that would be my preference. But if we end up breaking out, I want to have some long ideas. That's why I'm looking at GitLab and SMCI for a couple of different reasons. Now I just realized I have to get myself in the chat because I didn't do that. So I'm going to load that one up.
Get in the chat.
Be able to see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, we got to see what everyone's up to. Well, everybody's saying everybody loves the Bald Brotherhood. And I mean, you know what, dude? I just woke up. I think I told everybody this. I just woke up one morning and I'm like, what am I holding on to here? It was just a rash decision. I was talking about doing it for some time, but then Selena's just like, don't do it. You have a lot of hair. And I'm like, I don't. It's just, it's really, it fell out really quick though. It's crazy to think when I first started here, it was roughly a full head, but then as time went on, so in the span within about a year and a half, I lost the majority of it. So there's no point in me trying to grow anything back. Thanks, Jody. I appreciate that. Yeah, I like it, man, and that's what I was saying. I look back at some old pictures, and I just don't feel like the same individual after the show. Yeah, I do it myself. After the show, go and get the beard trimmed up and everything along those lines. So I'll be joining Neil on Thursday, Friday, and Monday. So congratulations to all of you. More of me and more IBIT trades as we trade off of those lows.
Thursday will be known as Cerberus Day.
Yes,
I can't promise. I can't promise you'll be happy Cerberus Day. But it is going to be Cerberus Day. It's going to be. 100%. Here's the 100% truth. No matter what happens on Thursday, Cerberus is going to determine how the day is going to go. I don't care what else happens. I do care what else happens in the market. But nothing else is going to happen in the market on Thursday that's going to matter more to most day traders, or at least any of the ones around here, other than that. And it's not the only IPO. But you know what? The next hour, everybody, I want to talk to you about Orogenics because we want to shout out them for sponsors portion of the show, and they've got some updates. OGN on the NYSE American. The company's now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia, with its first site fully operational and patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Orogenics has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Shout out to OGEN. I want to thank them for sponsoring this part of the show. Raven Millionaire says, dang, JPM is
I just put, oh, let's go. Okay.
Why dang? That's good.
Yeah, that's great, man. We're up almost 2% here today, 1.6%. And this was what I was talking about, JPM this morning. I have this CDR, Neil, I was mentioning that. So you get a 19 cents divvy, because I'm a dividend aristocrat now, apparently. So
drip or cash?
What do you mean? What is that, drip or cash?
A dividend, so drip is dividend reinvestment.
Yeah. So exactly. Drip or cash. Yeah, exactly. Just keep buying. Now you can get the fractionals and everything along those lines. So it just keeps buying more and more and more and more. So yeah, I like that. I haven't been in it for too long. I mean, a couple of months at this point. But other than that, we'll take it as JPM is up 1.7%. We were talking about the name that we were in not too long ago either, and that's going to be IBIT as we hold on to this from 45.35, now trading at 45.59, and a high of around 45.64. So JEPQ, I know a lot of people like JEPQ. And then also there's another SPY one that's kind of slipping my mind. It wasn't SPY, but VOOO. Am I saying 2O? Yeah. Am I saying too many O's? VOO.
It was I think the actual that one was picking up a ton of volume. VOO. I know Brendan when it first came out was saying it's really starting to compete, but it is really starting. It is pretty good. At one point, wasn't it doing more volume? I don't know. It might be. I mean, we could figure that out pretty quick. So how many shares do? So we'll go over to the SPY tab. I think SPY's winning. Yeah, I would suspect that it's probably going to have a little bit more million. Yeah, so what do you have, 30.7 million? Yeah. And then what do we have on VOO? It's not a bad start. It's done 4. It's done 4 million? Yeah, no one's actually owning it and trading it are two different things. Very different. You can still trade. Yeah, 4.25. The liquidity is enough that as an investment, it's absolutely fine. All right, SMCI. Oh, wow. Thanks, Pops. You know, I was about to, what just happened? You're still in, right? Oh, no. Yeah, so what basically just happened is I got the VWAP fill on SMCI, and then I guess the position board reset itself on the first fill. Oh, yeah, it did. It says that even though I'm still in the position, guys. But Yeah.
Yeah, it just went off the position board. I guess
That
I could.
happens.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's like the whole reset of the new show, and then the first position just re-triggered.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's gonna happen. So here's that VWAP test. I guess I could have been in on this candle, but you confirm the close, and then I got in on the next one, giving it to the local high. Just gonna give this one a tight stop. Remember, the market has room, like the Qs have room to. Whoops. That's the third time today that I've typed in www instead of QQQ. So there's still room to get into the high. So relatively tight stop, because I wouldn't want to be short a VWAP trade and think that I'll get some confluence with the futures and make some kind of a mess out of it. Like that I don't want to do. Like it's going to be in here. What the heck? Oh, and I misplaced my stop. Why did I just get out flat and pay fees to get out flat? Get me back in on the offer. Get me back in on the offer. Hit the offer. Hit the offer. No one's hitting the offer. This is afternoon trading for you. Really? Should have just hit the bid.
Oh, I meant to ask Sharif.
Should have just hit the bid.
I meant to ask Sharif a question today. I forgot. Sharif, Mansory or barbarous?
What do you get? Huh?
Mansory or barbarous? Yeah, wow. Okay.
I don't even know what do you guys
That's like car. You know how they like mod the car? Like you have like the Mansory version?
Well, clearly I don't, if I'm asking you what.
That's what I said, mods. Yeah, modifications, yeah.
Oh, okay. I asked you guys, no one answered this question. You were the fight guys.
Brabus, that's it, yeah.
Right, now I have to nibble in even a little bit lower.
Here you go.
I asked you guys in the chat, and no one answered, and I don't think anybody answered me. I said, you guys are the fight guys, Gina or Rhonda. That's this week.
Oh, yeah. No one's paying attention to that, to be honest with you.
It's being Paul promoted, so you'd think there'd be people interested.
No one's really. Paul was just trying to get like people intrigued, saying like, oh, the UFC's dying, blah blah, all this and all that. It is on Netflix though, isn't it?
I was gonna say it's a Netflix.
It's a Netflix
which
thing.
Was winning big today.
Yeah. So yeah, no, for me, I'm not intrigued by that fight, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't know the other individual. So if someone's saying Ronda, I've seen a couple people.
You don't know Gina Serrano?
Gina Serrano?
Yeah.
I know Amanda Serrano, but I don't know. Is this her sister?
You're too young.
Yeah.
So Gina was like the original OG of like women's MMA before Ronda Rousey. Like she was the first like star.
All right.
And then by the time Ronda came around, she was already done and went to TV and movies.
Oh, okay.
So this is I don't think she's that much older. I think they're actually close in age.
This is like a veteran fight then.
Yeah, this is like both veterans, but like the first OG to the next one. I don't know, I can't think of an analogy that works well with like.
Oh yeah, McCoy. Yeah, exactly.
It's that kind of a thing.
McCoy got hurt. That guy's a little rat bag. He got banned from the UFC. All right. So yeah, other than that, like.
Well, I said Serrano. It's Carano. I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, I know. I
don't know, man. You tell me.
Anyway,
I get things wrong all the time.
Yeah, same. I get stuff wrong all the time. As for the SPY, that was a nice recovery here, Neil. You can see that we actually popped up above VWAP here. Oops, why'd I go over to the daily? Here it is. Yeah, so we actually popped up above the volume-weighted average price. A little bit stronger of a recovery than what I was expecting here. But this move, and I often talk about this in the SPY, we want to look at an underlying like this, right? The XLF. So when we're tech-heavy, and it's literally live and die by the sword, so if tech's selling off and you have the chip names being extremely weak, well, you have the second heaviestly weighted sector within the SPY being the financials, having to kind of mitigate some of and offset some of the losses from the weighting of the tech space. Do you have the portfolio tracker up there?
Let me get it. I bookmark these things.
Yeah, same.
Which makes it.
Oh, I do. I have it. Okay, cool.
Hold on a second. Where is it? There. No, not that one. That one. No, not that one. Where the heck is it?
I got it.
There it is.
You have it?
Now I have it.
Man, you're really down in the dumps there, man.
It's AVAV.
Yeah.
You done know. I'll be straight.
Yeah, I know you're a straight shooter. That's
I'll be a straight shooter about AVAV because with the moment it happened, I still have not bought back into the stock. And I don't intend to until I see what I want happening. Right? Like for anyone that doesn't know, like my pick that's killing the portfolio was AVAV. I put it on the radar. The reason we did our picks for the year for 2026, right? So for myself, I started looking at it in December knowing we were going to do it. And this was one that jumped out for me. I saw it in a downward trend, holding the 200 period moving average near the end of the month. It then confirmed right at the end of the year, it does this confirmation. So I know this is a buy. And I bought it in my own personal account. Like I'm not putting, put money where mouth is. Yeah. But let's be real, it went from 250 to 400. I sold a bunch here at about in the 350 to 360 range. And then when it lost support, I got out. Like it broke this support and I dumped. And I still haven't gotten back in. So it trades a trade, fine. In the portfolio tracker, I'm getting smoked. But it was actually, like I made the most money out of the three, despite the fact that I hate to say it, but it's actually true. Like I personally made money off of this. And now I'm looking for a place to get back in because I do still like the story. I just don't like the price action. They're not making money yet. And if a company is making boatloads of money, or is proven commodity. Let me get back to the trade for a second, because I said I would give a very tight stop to SMCI, so I just want to make sure you guys see. It was in here, give it to that top. I'll take multiple shots at it, but I did the same thing this morning to get it to the low of the day. And I feel like if we lose VWAP, great. If you're above VWAP, the Qs still have room, right? There's the Qs still having room to get to this resistance spot. And GitLab is not bouncing. That was the other name I'm looking at, because I always want to bring it back. I'm only looking, it's only the two names. There's the tag of VWAP, now it's trying to go. So I'll probably enter on this candle if we confirm and give it into the volume weighted average price for GitLab. But I just want to finish the thought here on AVAV. I like the story, but you're not making money. Fundamentally, when that's the case, if the chart looks bad, I'm not just an auto dip buyer. If you're Google and you make boatloads of cash and you got a moat and everything fits, then I'm just buying.
Yeah, for sure.
When I did the same thing with, not indiscriminately, but kind of buying Meta when it was dipping earlier in the year. I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's cheap. And they make money. So I don't mind picking that kind of a thing up. But when you're AVAV, you're a drone name that is looking for profitability and consistency, yeah, you better show me that you've broken the trend back up. Like it here, willing to get out there, but not willing to get back in until I see it reclaim that 50-period moving average. And if it doesn't, maybe I never get into the stock. To me, you always have to have rules, right? And that's the biggest part of trading. And I would hope to never, I won't pretend to be perfect, but I would hope to never ever say, hey, this is what I believe and what I'm doing, and then you see me not do it. Nobody's perfect. You'll break rules because maybe you get emotional from time to time, maybe you revenge trade from time to time, or you get, oh, good, I'm missing the boat. I get a little bit of FOMO, and you get in at a price you said you would, and there's something, it'll happen. But generally speaking, I think that most of the time, you should be predictable in the way that if you have a plan, you're following your plan of action. So if you see me say that I'm buying AVAV before it breaks a 50 period, it better be because it went all the way down to $100 in the April low, or the company had like some surprise earnings. Just something fundamentally was fantastic. Yeah. It's got to be one of those, or flag off. Allow it to continue to be a dog.
The only name out of my pickings that I don't actually own is CrowdStrike, and it has been my best performer. I love CrowdStrike, man. I wish I got some. And I was talking about this earlier today, Neil, and I don't know how you feel about this specifically, but in order for us to add to your point, like you're talking about, you don't want to chase, you want to wait for a specific price, and I was referring to essentially the chip trade, right? Like you had to sit through a little bit of pain to actually gain the meat of the move. And that was the same narrative, essentially, what I was getting at with more popular names. But CrowdStrike, at one point, down 40%, but now it's only down like 4.5%, 3% off of its high. So a quick recovery. But in order to get that move, the chances of you getting in at the exact same at the exact right time and the exact right price is pretty low. So with that being said, in my opinion, you have to sit through a little bit of pain in order to get that big time gain.
Do you though? Or you could, because as it's going down, you can just say, I like this stock, I'm DCAing once it gets into the 400s. But I also try to make the argument, this would have been a trap. That's definitely a trap. But if you're in here, fair enough, you got trapped. If you're in here, fair enough, you got semi-trapped. But I like the hold of the 50 and the break. Yeah. Like hold a level, break a level. Hold a level, break a level. You can be in at 430 where it holds a level, breaks a level. And that's the confirmation. Like this day right here, April 20th, Congratulations. That'd be a good place to buy. I'll be the first person to tell you when it sold on earnings. I waited a few days, and as it came back through, I'm like, bump that. We get back up here, I'm taking it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just jumped in because I like CrowdStrike, and I was trying to buy back more shares anyways. I've always wanted 50-50 CrowdStrike Pan W. I was 60-40, so I bought it to rectify. I knew I was going to do it. But again, if it's a quality company that makes money, is best of breed and all that stuff, so much easier. Come on, GitLab. So much easier to buy on that way down than something like that AVAV, where I just need to see something out of it. I see the hold of VWAP. I don't see the bounce of VWAP.
Would you classify DCAing as only one specific direction or both directions?
DCA?
Yeah, dollar cost averaging in. So when we talk about DCAing, people think that you only DCA when things are selling off. But what about when things are really working out and then you buy some more? Is that still not classified as?
That's averaging up. DCAing is averaging down. Like averaging, because to me, averaging up is a different ballgame. Like DCAing is on the way down.
Okay.
I mean, some people say both directions. I find just
well,
the way I look at it is like if I say DCA,
it's context.
It's contextual. Like I don't have to describe that I'm buying. People just assume that. And if I'm DCAing, like averaging into a sell or averaging up, doing something different than the norm, I'll use the descriptor to make it obvious. So I don't have to. So it's just the way you talk, so not to explain yourself, I guess.
Yeah.
But like
a lot of people are saying it's both.
No, I get it that it's both. But if you ever hear me say getting into a stock, assume long. Yeah. Because if it's a short, you say short.
Yeah.
Assume buy until proven otherwise. We get a super chat.
Well, that's what I was saying. Technically, it's like that conversation is like, remember the last time you and I were
like
on?
Beer Man here. I agree with Beer Man.
Yeah, remember the previous conversation we had is like, okay, a stock can be down 50% off the highs, but then it bounces 20% off the lows and it's classified as being in a bull market.
I just don't agree with that. See, this is why I like it. DCA averages down. Scaling in is how you DCA up.
Okay, but you're still using the term DCA.
I would just say average. I say average up.
So what I was getting at here, someone said DCAing is for suckers, but essentially you're still dollar cost averaging in if you're going to continuously buy something even on the way up.
I mean, ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is it's not anytime you're listening to somebody or just trying to follow along or trying to understand something, ask for clarification. If it's not obvious, you'll hear me say things like, I want to fade SMCI today. I want to fade this. It might not be obvious to somebody that means a short. It does mean short. I'll never use the term unless I mean I'm shorting something. Fading it just means I want to short it, selling into it. Right? Like that's the way I would look at it. But and the other thing is Roof Ninja. I'll use DCA as a term for the long term. You will not hear me say I'm DCAing into a day trade. No, you're averaging.
No. And that's more or less what I was referring to, like the longer term, right?
To me, dollar cost averaging, I get it, people use it different. I consider that to be something when you're in a long-term position. I'm DCing into it, but if you're in a trade, I'm just averaging in. Like I'm just buying more shares as it goes against me. That's more of a position trade thing. And I think it's an important distinction because one of those two, like if you think of the mindset behind it, oftentimes the DCA is because you're like, I just want to own this stock 10 years from now, forever.
Yeah.
Therefore, I don't know where to buy it, but I know I want to hold it. So I'm just going to buy it every month. And if it goes down, it doesn't matter. Whether it's up or down, I'm just buying more of it. Averaging in is a trading thing. You're averaging in because it's going against you, but you still believe it's going to go up and you're buying more. You believe it's going to go down, so you're selling more. Averaging in is a totally different ball game.
Yeah, that
totally
was
different ball game.
Definitely more or less what I was getting at there, because like the SPY or like higher quality names, it's just like, okay, you just grab them whenever you have that extra capital to do so. All right, we have a couple of super chats here, Neil. Yay, it's Rabel DC8. Oh my God, that's crazy. I don't know what's up with this. It was JK. I knew that was you before. I don't know what's going on with this story. I was asking him about my friend. I'm like, what is going on? I understand it's stepping outside, but why is it so popular? Like, why? I don't get it. I think it's something that is giving a little bit more publicity than it would actually needed to be.
Well,
because she's an analyst.
She's an analyst
for the sport. For the sport,
and he is a head coach.
Yeah, exactly.
How do analysts get scoops by having sources?
Okay, well, didn't what's our good friend over there, the Blue Jays reporter? What's her name? The Asian lady. Hazel May.
Don't you dare talk about Hazel May.
I'm not saying anything. Legend. I'm not saying anything bad about her. But she was in kind of cohorts with our former Leafs general manager Brian Burke.
I know nothing of it.
Actually, are you just saying that?
Hazel May is a national treasure.
That's fine, but that doesn't defeat.
I plead the fifth. If I don't know about it,
do you not actually know, or are you just pleading? Are you just pleading?
I don't know. It's a hockey thing, so I probably just.
Yeah. So apparently, her and Brian Burke. Look it up. I don't know. That was the rumor back in the day. Yeah, the former GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You know
Brian Burke? Because he went to
Cal. Died. Yeah. I know RIP, and I went down a rabbit hole once, and he did a lot of activism stuff. It was a very tragic story. Yeah. But yeah, I'm familiar with him mostly through his son, oddly enough.
Okay, cool. Back to the super chat. What are your thoughts on selling covered puts? No clue. I've never really heard of that. I've heard of cash secured puts. And the real question is, what is your objective?
That's the wrong super chat. That's up.
Oh, we didn't do this.
Yeah,
Okay. Thoughts on selling? I mean, cash secured puts. I'll talk about it all the time, and Neil was bringing up the point, and I was talking about the fact just not chasing this memory play or this chip trade all the way up here. Well, there's ways that you can profit from it, and that's going to be selling CSPs. If you're really looking to get involved at a stock at a specific price, you need the cash on hands to acquire 100 shares minimum, but there's ways that you can take advantage of that, and that'd be selling cash secured puts. I think that's what you mean by covered puts. If I'm wrong, chat, please implement that a little bit more.
The beer man. Also, only DCA at entries, or you DCA into priced trouble. If you look at a cheaper price to DCA, you'll do more DCA at lower entry to get. Obviously, if you DCA on the way down, that makes sense. But I think it's also reasonable. It's also reasonable to just say, this year I like X stock. I'm buying it once a quarter to get into it. So I'm going to get a blended price of whatever it does for the year to get into a long-term position. That's also dollar cost averaging. It might not guarantee that you get a better price, but then, because I like to look at it in that regard, what happens if you're trying to buy an uptrend? Do you just never, what am I going to just not own GEV?
Right.
That's the other thing. If, I want to own this stock, but I'm only going to DCA into it. Well, now what? If we come to the chart for a second. Can we come to my chart?
Yeah.
Well, now what do you do? If you're only DCAing into this thing, sure, there's some pullbacks, but I think at times you just might say to yourself, all right, I'm buying it quarterly and trying to get it where I could. Thomas, would you DCA for BBAI 10 years theoretically? I don't know. You got to ask Sean that question. I have shot plays in my account. The companies I think are not mature. I don't think SMR is a mature company. I'm in that one. I don't think D-Wave is a mature company. I'm in that. So I was in Webull, but that was more of it was holding $10, so I liked the kind of deal. So I can't, I'm not the BBAI guy. But what I can say about it, because we're looking at sometimes just the chart and the technical analysis. Am I a fan of a stock that has support, that has accumulation, that is holding the 50-period moving average? Like I've just told you, that's what I'm waiting for in AVAV. If BBAI was a stock that I liked, well, I'd be a buyer of the 50-period holding here. That's just how I roll. It's downward trend here, holds the low, it's a higher low, which doesn't really hurt here, then breaks the 50-period and holds above that. Post-earnings, it does it too. I like that kind of stuff. So yeah, but for me, I probably would. And if I didn't really know where the bottom was, maybe I'd buy there and say, well, if it ever gets underneath $2, I'll give up and buy it in front of 3 and just put a stop. Or I would just buy the 50-period and hold till the low. Those types of things I generally like, but that stock's not for me. SMR is one that I do like. We have a lot of super chats here.
Yeah, we are, man. Keep firing it up. It's me and the man himself, Neil.
Yeah, you got to answer. You got to take this one on. This is the covered puts.
Yeah. I always go back to the point, like, so say you're short, 100 shares of something. You didn't put your ticker in or anything along those lines. But when you have these forms of pullback, and I forget what the example was, someone was saying that they were writing covered calls against something. But if you're looking to, I would love to know the ticker so we could talk a little bit more. But let's head over to like the microns, right? So it's like, say you just so happen to top tick this here and you're short 100 shares from 818, there's no need to hedge against your position if it's working well. Why? Because the appreciation or the depreciation, what's the word I'm looking for? Depreciation of those specific shares and the underlying asset is always going to be greater than what you're collecting via premium. So you may as well allow that to work and not stress out about getting your shares assigned, because at that point, if it continues to free fall and you don't get that bounce, then sure enough, your shares will get called away. Is that something that you want? Maybe, potentially, but I always go with the fact of just allowing something that's appreciating or depreciating in price and that's working in your favor to do so, and wait until things cool down before you really start to, say, buy your married put or your covered put or your covered call. That's just my opinion. And you really have to game plan and decide what you want to do, because if you think that the market is going to drop faster and not recover just yet, then just allow it to work for you, because the amount of premium that you're going to collect, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. And ask me how I know this. I would do the poor man's covered call all the time. At times, I didn't need to do it. Why? Because we had strong moves in the underlying asset, and I'm like, oh, I want to collect an extra couple $100 here by the end of the month because I don't think that it's going to climb. No, it's just not worth it at the end of the day. Once things cool down, then by all means continue to do so, and that's when you want to start to write things. Now, if some covered calls in MU and SanDisk and some of these memory plays in AMD right now, after you have this aggressive pullback, may not be such a bad thing if you're looking for a couple of weeks out. But if you're on the inverse of that and shorting and you think it's going to continue to slide aggressively, there's no need, in my opinion. Let's send things off to Adara.
Hi, guys. I wanted to take some time here. I don't have any news, but I wanted to take some time to go over what the Senate exactly voted for today when it comes to Kevin Warsh, because I know there's a lot of talk. Oh, he's confirmed. Kevin Warsh is confirmed as a member of the Board of Governors. He's not yet confirmed as Fed Chair. So this infographic, I haven't even posted this, and truthfully, I'm not sure I will, because I want to wait to see, to get the formal version once he's confirmed as Fed Chair. So how this works, guys, is goodbye, Stephen Myron. One of the most dovish Feds that I can remember. He's gone from the Fed. He was right here where Kevin Warsh now is. So basically what happens is they voted in Kevin Warsh as a member of the Board of Governors. As of tomorrow, they're expecting to vote to confirm him as Fed Chair. Now, as of May 15th, Warsh will then, at that point, if he is confirmed, which he's very likely to, he'll become Fed Chair, and Powell will step into the governor role. Now, it's worth noting, this also isn't up to date. I have to update this as well because Bostic is retired. There's now an interim president of the Atlanta Fed named Cheryl Venable. She'll be in that place as well. So this is going to be updated by the end of the week once we get that confirmation of Kevin Warsh as Fed Chair. But I did want to let you guys know Myron's out, Warsh is in, and Warsh is going to be in the top seat, likely confirmed by tomorrow and for sure by the end of the week. So if you enjoy way too in-depth dives into the Fed or into Fed Chair Powell's ties or into stocks or into random companies or President Trump's stock shoutouts, you guys are in the right place. Definitely join us over at X at TTV Research for even more. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. I was actually talking to Joe about because I didn't know about this whole why you would not. Well, it doesn't make sense for covered puts, but I like covered calls, and I like it when you own something that you like that the market doesn't, like it's in a downward trend.
Exactly.
To sell something. And if you get called away, because I remember the first time I was buying dips in Intel under that 25 support, and it didn't look like it was the greatest in the world. And I remember I actually had some called away because I threw it. It was like. It was 45, not 50, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, oh, well, if it gets up there in the next few months, there's nothing fundamentally that's changed here. I don't mind if that loses. And then, talk about luck. Because you would have heard me. If you were on the show, I'm like, I like that 25. Like that 25 level. And it held on the 3-month here. And then finally, when it made that bottom, the shares that got called away, I just bought them right back at the 19 low, and now probably gotten out too early. So NVIDIA, which I put into the chat that a lot of people were talking about, I just went too far. it came up through 19 holding VWAP, and I had to chase a little bit. I had a bid in there right in front of 19. And I had to chase it into the 20s. I left the 12 bid, trying to get picked up for the rest. Excuse me. And looking for just a push into 2020, like 2020 and a half, right? Like into this level here. So I want to add on VWAP dips as like you've made the bottom, you kind of filled in into VWAP. I just want to look for this gap to fill in here on NVIDIA. GitLab, I was doing absolutely nothing for me at that VWAP. It just keeps on trending down. Get rid of this without a break. You know, we're not really doing anything with VWAP here to show me the buyers have come in. So I just don't see a long in that name. I don't want to get completely away from the short because as the NASDAQ gets up to VWAP here, I'm looking at BMNR. So if there's a short opportunity, it's BMNR that I have the eyeballs on for that VWAP trade. If we just get a little bit higher, I like that for a fade. But into NVIDIA now, I see some questions about Meta. What about Meta? Can't decide off of 60. Was on a little meeting. I didn't do much trading in the middle of the day. Had a meeting and was discussing like market mechanics and that kind of a thing. And one of those was what happens at accumulation levels or consolidation levels. And sometimes you can break them, but all roads have been leading back into 599, 600 for Meta. It cannot, like we're just spending a lot of time chopping around those levels. When it breaks away, have fun. But if it breaks down, that sucks. But if it can break up, why not revisit the highs? So only NVIDIA as I wait for the short opportunity in BMNR. David's do the opposite trade idea.
Bang.
Went on June and July $100 calls on Oklo, flipped Lucky Coin. You flipped a Lucky Coin 3 times and it said no. Check Magic 8 Ball. I know you're joking, obviously. And so understand that when we got one of our viewers, thank you to Daniel Westermeyer for sending us a Magic 8 Ball. It's all for jokes and entertainment. Nobody should be making decisions based on what a Magic 8 Ball.
I think they should.
Unless it's whether you want to.
I'm all for that, brother. I'm all about if you're stuck in a conundrum and you're like, what do I do in life? You flip that coin.
For whether I'm gonna do squats or Bulgarians in my leg workout, sure, because it ultimately doesn't matter.
The toughest of life choices, you flip that coin. I'm serious, man. I'm serious.
You're not serious.
No, I'm dead serious because it's destiny. It's either it's gonna work or it's not. There's nothing more real than a coin flip, dude.
He's trolling me.
I'm serious.
I'm not falling for it.
Man.
I'll fall for a lot of stuff. I'm not falling for that. But for David, what was the question? It is, should you go June and July $100 calls? Did this work? Did it not work? See how you can't bubbles.
You should get it already. Yeah.
The bubbles. This thing it's now defective. I feel like it doesn't last very long, and now I just can't read it. So the Magic 8 Ball is not giving an answer, but you shouldn't. He's not serious, everybody. He's messing around. Let's go to Adara. You're obviously joking. You're not making life decisions based on it. Come on.
Will the 8 Ball give us all the answers? Signs point to no. Will I give you guys all the news? Signs point to yes. Let's talk here about META, because I do have a headline in this, not moving too much, but they're making a bit of a move here in response to a probe in the EU. So Meta announcing they're going to be granting competing AI chatbots free entry onto WhatsApp for a 1-month period. Again, this apparently aims to settle an EU probe with a, quote, swift and just resolution. So Meta saying, hey, for 1 month, chat bots from other companies can chill on WhatsApp. Back to you.
Nothing is more fun than a coin flip. Thank you, Adara. There's plenty of places where you can make a random decision, a big decision.
So it's like pizza or tacos for dinner.
100% flip a coin. That's great. Am I going for a run or am I hopping on the exercise bike?
Coin flip.
Flip a coin. Am I buying a house or a condo?
Flip it.
No. And I know you're just trolling. The beer man with the super chat, I'm supercharging because you guys helped me, especially with early morning analysis. Breathe, I know you're just trolling me. You guys helped me with news calls. The super chats are my little contributions as a thank you. Well, thank you, the beer man, for having a fantastic name and for contributing to the, not just to the show, but to the community. Like everybody out here, you do flip coins all the day with decision making, but I think it's for the small stuff. Rhythm Trader, It is called one of the greatest dance hall rhythms of all time, the Taliban rhythm.
The Taliban rhythm.
You know that one?
No.
The Return.
I don't know that one.
Okay, I can't play it.
Oh.
Shoot. Can we? We're not allowed to play music.
Yeah, we can't. No,
we're not allowed.
We're not allowed to play.
Okay, well, we can't. But what are your thoughts on RVI? It's been moving. First, before we get into anything, I didn't get the reload here, but see the behavior change, parabolic 3 candles. Now you're getting a little bit of condensation in here as we get into this chop zone. So this might be one where I look to quickly take the scalp, 70 to $1, and then look for the reload and not look at it out of hand. But what are the thoughts on RVI? So that's that Robinhood Ventures Fund. I don't really know much about this. So I don't know a ton about. I'd have to look up what's in here for RVI. Yes, it's moving. What's it called? Destiny is moving as well. Right, so Adara.
Sorry to interrupt. I just looked into this. This could also be moving because apparently they're already planning a follow-up to RVI, and this was reported as of 19 hours ago by TechCrunch. So Robinhood apparently they like what they did with RVI here. That's their One Ventures IPO, and the weird little roadshow announcement for it from Vlad was real weird. But they're going to be doing a sequel apparently. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. When I say weird, I just mean it was very clearly scripted and really awkward. But yeah, they're going to be doing a second one of these. Second venture fund could be coming out, again, as reported by TechCrunch, as far as I can see.
Yeah, if you're getting access to unicorns, what unicorns are you getting into? I know Destiny because Destiny, the last I checked, was just it was just straight up 50% SpaceX and 10% OpenAI and a bunch of other stuff. So when you own Destiny, even if you're not paying a good fair value, I know what's in there. So I would just probably ask Gemini. Where's my Ask Gemini button? What are the top holdings of RVI? And then go from there. Because I think that's all that really matters. And what you should always do is, for anything along those lines, it just keeps on running out of steam. Don't mark it at VWAP, take the scalp trade, and move on to another entry point. What you should always do, this is, I'm more of a, I should be in here. So here's an example of something I was trying to get at earlier. The structure of a trade, when does this break the consolidation? I get it off of VWAP, but the move really started here at 218.40. So there's your break of trend, and then usually I'd be looking for here into somewhere into there. Just because I've got it, I'm in it 70 to 80 cents late. That won't. I still will take the 70 to 80. It's better to get the $1.50, but I'm not in at that price. So if it starts slowing down in the area that I'm expecting it to, I'm not going to try to eke another 70, 80 pennies out of it. I'm seeing what I'm seeing. If I'm seeing a trend break from here to look into that level and maybe pull back into VWAP to hold, well, I'm going to play that pattern regardless of the price that I got in. The price that I got in is a little bit late to the move, so then I take half the move. And if it ends up going the full $1.50, fine, but that's not really what I was looking for there. So what did it answer my question to? Okay, so, seriously, Gemini, OpenAI, Databricks, Stripe, 11 Labs, Ramp, Revolut, but it doesn't tell me how much. That's half the question. I would like to know, when I was looking for what was an RVI, what I wanted Gemini to tell me is how much it held. So I'd send a bad prompt, and now I'd have to ask it. But I think the most important thing is, if you let's say you like OpenAI. If RVI holds 8% OpenAI, and DXY has 10% OpenAI, and maybe you also really like.
Is this what you're referring to?
It might be. I'd have to.
Yeah. Of course, I know that.
Yeah, you just want to be sure that you can stomach some of the other stuff in there. Because if you love OpenAI, then it's a portion. The DXYZ, Destiny owns 10% OpenAI. You better like the rest of the stuff that it's holding too, because you're paying a pretty hefty premium to fair value to be in the thing. And I would say the same thing with RCI. What is Hangry Wife? What does this mean?
What did they say?
No, Hangry Wife just puts in the chat. Where is it? Neil is such a nice person that when he's mad, he is the most nice mad person. I'm gonna push back on that for a second.
That was kind of nice of you to say it like that.
I'm gonna half dox myself by saying that I am so old that one of my throwaway email addresses, it's my Yahoo email address, is a variation of being an angry person.
Okay.
And it's like there's a famous like a character called Angry Black from a certain radio show that was like I always thought was hilarious. And so like I think it's because like my pops, like when my pops get serious, like trust me, you're like
serious.
Whoa, you don't mess around. And that's how people viewed me. It's like, yeah, when you get serious, it sounds like you're really mad, but I know you're really not. So like some people will say I'm like the angry black guy, which obviously is a trope.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't think that. Like I used to always think that like when if I raise my voice, and this would happen, like people would just, ooh.
Like what's going on
It's
there?
nice to hear that. All right, so maybe gut right on NVIDIA. We'll see. And I want to remind everybody, like every time the gut says this and looks good, remember, the gut also said this.
Ooh.
And you
to get out there?
Well, yeah, to trail out of it.
Okay.
At the moment, it seemed like the right decision. There was probably a chance to get back in at VWAP and not leave the last bit on and to get back in. But sometimes, like you listen to it, it's good for a few minutes and then it's dead wrong. And other times, you know, like maybe that was all, New Zealand, maybe that was all I could get out of NVIDIA. And it's just going to try to now have to hold on to VWAP. And then scalp trade. Like if you only get the 70 pennies, you only get the 70 pennies, and then I just hunt for the next trade. Man, it's kind of accelerating to the downside. Maybe I don't even want that long. I never got the chance at the BMNR short. Again, you're just going to go back into the next opportunity because that's where the mind goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's not going to get to VWAP, I might just go back and short it off of, like nibble in here because it's got resistance at 2165. Market's at VWAP. I want something short.
Look at all those indecision prints on the NASDAQ here on the 5-minute right below the volume weighted average price. Yeah, it's gonna sell here. We're doing pretty good on this IBIT trade, guys. You can see that we added a little bit more at the volume weighted average price. Not the best price, but anyways, it didn't break through some of these support levels. So that's why we're like, okay, let's get a little bit more in. We take some off. I could take some off right now and it will just be remaining and then my average price would be right there. So other than that, guys, we can go over our winning trades. And I talked about just accepting the fact and being happy with what you did. And that was RGTI. It would have been ignorant of me to not just immediately run away with these profits. We took a couple more attempts on it to see if we can add a little bit more to the bank, but that wasn't the case, right? So we stopped that, and then we didn't put any other trades on until later on in the day. Dude, Neil, I took this this position right here with 10 times the amount of shares right there, but it was like I entered on this candle, and it was instantly like 35 cents in the money.
I missed, which one did you like more? Which entry was the one you like more? The bottom tail.
This one, yeah, this was definitely playing. I also like, but I like these VWAP for the bounce, right? These names were up higher. I was like, okay, can we break through VWAP? That wasn't the case. We had that strong recovery right here, but then it just established a lower high, and I had to take.
You know what I found with the VWAP trades? I've specifically IBIT burned me a couple times that way last week.
Today?
Like, no, not today.
Last week.
But like, just in general recently, where like if I get it off of the lows, off a support level, fine. But if I'm trying to get the initial initial VWAP break, it just doesn't work. It
doesn't work unless the momentum is really, really there.
Yeah, like if it doesn't go right away, then it's like have a tighter stop.
It takes time.
Like it's just something, and maybe it's a Bitcoin thing. I don't know. Maybe it's not a Bitcoin thing. I have no clue. But I just feel like it has not been like the best entry point. Like even look at crypto here, like BMNR.
Yeah.
Here breaks and then immediately reversal. Like my gut instinct has been to wait for a chance to fade that if I get it. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I like that one.
That's some new-ish right there.
I mean, yeah.
Is that Ramin?
No.
Is that Fabian? That's Ramin, man. It's Ram.
Yeah.
I see Ramin.
I can't see. I got to look through these cracks.
It's the hoodie.
But other than that, like I've taken, this is my 4th entry of the day. If we're going to include this, then 5. 3 attempts on RGTI, one of them being, our first one being the largest entry, and then we took 2 losses. So we shot a 30% clip rate on that, still profitable on the session, and then we were fortunate enough to get this one. But we waited all the way from the morning, which we were done around like 9:45 when we stopped taking our entries over there, all the way up to 1:09 before we decided to get involved in something a little bit more. And I just did this here more or less for you guys, to be honest with you, to say like, hey, I like the IBIT, it's working really, really well, but I was cool with just been like relaxing and just chatting with you guys and going on a little bit
I gotta
more.
ask you a quick, cool question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where was your first entry in Rigetti?
Here, let's pull that up. It was at 9:31.
Okay, never mind. When did you get out?
Like 9:33.
Okay, you stopped trading it before. Did you trade it after 10 o'clock? I made one trade.
10:13. 10:13 was my out. 10:07 was my last entry.
I had a funny feeling about this.
What?
So
you took the short off of that,
ever wanna
right? Yeah. So I provided you the liquidity pretty much.
No,
right
but the
there.
most important thing, and we say this all the time, one of the most important things in trading, it's what to trade and when to trade it.
Yeah.
Every time I hear somebody say, man, I had this stock dead to rights, but I got out at the top. Or sorry, I got in at the top or I got out at the bottom. You know what? What you should be doing, instead of sitting there, like I'll oftentimes be like, man, woe is me, I suck, I'm the worst. What you should tell yourself is, you were making a decision in the right thing at the right price. Mm-hmm. You just happened to make the wrong decision. If there's three things that you had to fulfill, you got 2 out of 3. So that's a huge learning point. That's huge. If I see a trader trade all week and all of their worst losses are them making a bottom tail wick, if they were long and they made the bottom and it's like it happened to them 3 or 4 times and if it didn't happen, they'd be up. I'd say, you know what? You were like dead ass right about the right place to be and the right time. You just kind of didn't execute it correctly.
Yeah.
That's fixable. Getting in at a bad time when there's no reason to make a decision at that price, because like why would you make a decision or call at that particular price in that stock? That's a problem. That's why I was curious about it, because remember I was saying I was getting burned sometimes taking that like attempt to break VWAP in the trend trade.
Yeah.
So what I've been doing is waiting for it to look like it would trap and then taking a short if I see some lower highs.
But that's essentially what it did though to me, right? Like, so what my thinking was behind it, if we're gonna dissect this a little bit, is the momentum style of play throughout the first half an hour of the session, right? So it's like, okay, I take this hammer candle, I wait for that 1 wick confirmation, we get in at the low. So this was playing on the 1 minute, there was a indecision print, the first 1 minute candle, I'm like, oh, okay, we are relatively strong in the morning. Let's see if we can get some form of a continuation. That candle printed, off to the races it goes. It punches through the volume weighted average price. Then I'm like, oh, okay, it sells off, but it wicks the prior wick low and then climbs back aggressively. You see this engulfing print right here?
Yep.
Oh, I don't know how. So I'm like, okay, we're relatively strong. Maybe we're going to continue that momentum as the market is selling. We diverge from what the NASDAQ is doing. Let me try it one more time. And then it just tanked. And then I had to, again, you make that strong up move, but all it did is it kind of did trap me. It did trap me in 2 false breaks at the volume weighted average price. But then I gave up on that specific style of trade. I'm like, you know what? It's not working. The initial move was the one that I was going to get, and we weren't going to get that breakout rally.
You know what the truth is?
RGTI.
It is impossible to engage in a breakout trade without falling for traps.
Yeah.
If you never fall for a trap in a breakout trade, then you'll never actually win in a breakout trade either. In a breakout trade, you just have to get in there and let the chips stand. You'll have an out, like this is worth breaking, and there's a tremendous upside. Give it a chance. Some of the biggest, any day trader will tell you that a form of breakout trade is probably, over the long haul, some of their biggest trades are going to be breakout trades.
Yeah.
But there is no chance that you will not get trapped in a bunch of ugly ones. It's what you do when you get trapped. Like turning a breakout trade into a dip buy is usually the way that people get absolutely burned. A breakout trade that just fails, it can suck. And maybe you give up a little bit more out of some slippage, but so what? At least you got out of it.
You know when you're wrong though on the breakout trade because you expect it. You're like, okay, all right, yeah, you got to get out of this trade.
Oh, you want to know what's jokes? I don't know this for sure because Sean is away and had an appointment this afternoon. But one of the 2 of us got filled on their arm bid.
Oh, really?
It's implicitly true because we both put bids in front of $200 and it went to 201. And I'm pretty sure he said something in the 02 range. I just know that I didn't get filled because I'm sitting at like right in front of 200. And if you know what my favorite numbers are, you can guess. Anybody that knows my favorite baseball numbers would be able to tell exactly where I'm bidding on my long-term account to reload shares. I was a seller. Before we get into, I should do this first. Sometimes I'll talk assuming that you've been watching the show. You then remember that I sold this thing going into the tops. I think I got 230 in the mid 230s. I sold 10% of ARM, looking to just get 10 back 10% back in, build a larger position because of the new chip thing and because you're in a new breakout. I do want to build a longer position long term, but the 10% I sold, I want to buy back in front of 200. If we get a test of the major moving average, I now want ARM to be a bigger position in my portfolio, so at that point I would get more. But I didn't get filled at 200, and either 22 or 42. I'll leave you guys to guess which one. Bronson has smartly said 42. Milton said Will Clark, which is 22. It's just a thing. Like in my long-term account, if I'm just sitting there DCAing, oh, I want to buy Intel in front of $19. Believe me, I'm bidding 1922 or 1942. It's just like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to bid $19 even. I never really do. It's like, does it really matter? So I just put it in at a number I like. I bought Tesla at $222.22 last year. Straight up, no lie. Remember it distinctly. I'm like, yeah, it's got 220 support. The second it held 220 support, if we get back to 222.22 and 22 cents, that's where I'm picking up Tesla shares. Looks fantastic, but I knew that I liked the 220 level, and I'm not going to bid $220 even, because that's boring, and nobody likes boring. All right, so BMNR is still holding off of this prior high. That's not doing anything. Someone just said SLV.
I was going to say, I don't want to beat this coin flip thing to death, but have you ever seen the movie No Country for Old Men?
Of course. That's a great
movie. I got to think about the coin flip. It tells everything, and then obviously
it's not
with
an endorsement of coin flips.
with also in The Dark Knight, Two-Face.
Hold on a second.
Two-Face flips a coin, right?
Those are examples of maybe not wanting. Like you say, you like doing coin. Those are literally examples of why you would not want to do a coin flip. Not that you would
call it, man.
It's life or death.
Someone just
he literally kills you after.
That's literally what it is. It never lies.
But it's a great movie, but it's not an endorsement of using coin flips for decision, which I think is terrible. Which gateway to sit on because I can't decide whether to use ARCA or NASDAQ.
Do we have a coin right now?
Flip a coin.
Let's do it.
That's not inherently bad, because to me, if they're two equal and it arbitrary, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm gonna put a stop order up here. Am I gonna throw it in? Is it gonna throw it in ARCA?
No, I
am gonna put a stop order. Am I gonna throw it in Edge A or am I gonna throw it a Frex?
Yeah.
Ultimately, doesn't matter. Flip a coin.
Or even better,
if it does matter, you don't flip a coin if it matters.
Or even better, do I put a stop in? Yes or no? Flip the coin.
No, you don't flip a coin.
No, you don't. Guys, I'm obviously being highly sarcastic. Do not listen to anything that I am saying. But what is working for us right now in all seriousness? IBIT, we're down only about 1.6% now, climbing up to 45.73. Always put that stop in. That's one thing I would say don't flip a coin on, because you would have a very bad time after that. But other than that, guys, you can see we take a little bit more off the top right here, 45.50, and then we add some more up here at 45.63, and then now we're currently trading at 45.70s here on IBIT.
Taylor Batty said don't short Intel again. I haven't traded Intel today. Sean traded Intel.
I think the short's a good play, and I think we have to stick with that for now. I'm not saying long term. Yeah, just too far, too fast.
Someone said shorting is nuts right now. I think for the afternoon, I'm usually looking for basically I'll open up the playbook in the morning, but in the afternoon, I'm looking for basically two things. I'm looking for hold under VWAP trend shorts, or VWAP reversals, or pull back into VWAP longs. Like, those are three things off of, see, gut was wrong, right? Like, it ends up, NVDA goes further. I'm looking for break above VWAP, continuation long, or I'm looking for trend continuation short underneath the volume weighted average price, or the last thing I would look for is just a clean trend break. Something in a long, decisive up or down trend for like the majority of the day that breaks that trend. In the afternoon, bar none, if you see me in a trade that isn't like a closing trade, it's usually one of those in terms of setup. There's so many different types of setups in the morning that have all day type of potential, like breakouts. But in the afternoon, it's like I think narrowing it down. And the reason for that is over time, I just find afternoon trading, in my experience, tends to have more consequences for overtrading. More dire consequences there, because you can get rinsed, but there's less room for you to get like a full day hold. Like if you get stubborn, you can lose it all. But if you get it right, you're not going to get an all-day hold in the entire day range. So there's less upside where you can lose just as much in afternoon trading. So therefore, I'm looking for more specific types of entries. Specific types of entries and trades. What else we got? Market is not crashing. Trade Sniper, the market is slightly pulling back. BMNR, which I jumped into, just came into VWAP and pulled back. The Qs came into VWAP and pulled back. Probably a bunch of other things came into the volume weighted average price or just kind of made it to a resistance spot and are pulling back. This is not a crash. You could, if you describe what happened all day long as a crash, I'll grant you that one. But I don't think we get to call a couple bucks in the Qs here off of the volume weighted average price when we've got a range of $15 or $14 on the day a crash.
Oh, it's power hour. Okay.
It is power hour. It's the hour of power.
That is, as the overall market is starting to come back in. Thanks for pointing that out to me.
The beer man. More momentum plays from the pre-market is great. I just did that thing where I correct the grammar, even though it's not how you wrote it. Oh man, I'm terrible. I was gonna say, if you're trading small cappers, you have to have a willingness to take advantage of pre-market movement. I do think. I think it'd be incredibly difficult to be a small cap trader, the small cap gapper trader that wants to try to get those really, really big moves without a willingness to enter in the pre-market sometimes. Southern Nurse, Sally I, hi everyone. This is the best live on TT every day. Love hanging out and listening daily. Hey, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the super chat. That's on. This is on TikTok.
Nurse Sally.
Yeah, appreciate you, Southern Nurse. Sal I. I always want to say Sally because John Sally's.
You can go. Appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate everyone, man. We started off hot with some super chats. I think we're just trying to have a little. Well, no, what I do know is that we're just trying to have a little fun, but actually talk some. It's crazy for me to say this right now, just logic and trading sense, right? Considering I was just going on this whole spiel about a coin. But that's me being sarcastic and having a little bit of fun, all right? Anyways, but no, in all seriousness, guys, the market was selling. We talk about just the trip trade being a little bit overextended. Does it mean that it's the end of things? I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Sharif that believes that Intel is going to continue to climb higher. I believe that this whole trade is going to continue. Earlier in the year, we were talking about just the fact that we thought it was dead, but the CapEx remains high, and the demand for this is still ever so growing. And I think we have to stick with that narrative for the foreseeable future. And everybody worries about it. Remember back in the day, Neil, during COVID times when good news was bad news in regards to like inflation and everything like that, and then bad news was good news in regards to initial jobless claims and NFP. I think this is what may be a tough comparison, but right now we talk about the metas and everything, and they're spending a lot of money, the hyperscalers spending a lot of money. But what happens when that money starts to cool down? And what I'm getting at here is I believe that these individuals and these large companies are investing this amount of money. Why? Because they're going to see a return on the opposite
because they
end.
expect to see
exactly right. So not only are you going to see their free cash flows start to increase once again, you're going to see an increase in revenues and potentially margins just due to the fact from the amount of spending. So I think it's a double-edged sword that we're sitting on right now in a positive way, in appreciating within this specific AI trade, because I do believe that it's structural and fundamental change that we're going through. Just the tools that we now have access to.
I was saying this to Sean in the morning. I don't remember which. It might have been last week. I feel like it was yesterday, but like I said, sometimes I forget. But the discussion I remember pretty distinctly. We're talking specifically about the next wave in training. Mm-hmm. Everybody talks about data and training. Reddit is selling their data to train LLMs. It's reading your emails and everything about you and everything that we write and all our communication so they can get smarter. Well, the next level of training is you're not going to have robotics. You're not going to have a level of automation in AI for that next step. You're not going to get Skynet without real world. Yeah. That's going to be what? It's audio, it's visual. It's earbuds, it's glasses, it's devices that are seeing what you see and what you do and listening to what is being said. That is the next level of training. And there's two companies that are obvious to me. Now, I get it. There's going to be a bunch of companies that probably make some stuff, and the nuts and bolts of all these types of devices, they'll be good too. I don't know any off the top of my head. if I did, believe me, I'd have bought them already. Apple and Meta.
Yeah.
Apple, we know.
From the device.
That's what makes Apple's an easy one, because we know that if that level of training's on the devices, Apple's gonna win, because we know them for the earbuds, and trust me, they'll figure it out. Meta, I think this has to be part of why they will not completely give up on the glasses, because it's such a huge next step. I think you already have Amazon saying, we want everyone wear these devices so we can train our employees, so the robots can get trained.
Yeah.
Think that worldwide in places that you wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
Right. Think about a doctor or a surgeon. Think about in the military. Right. What possible reason would you have in combat? You already have recording devices. You already have it. Okay. Well, let's just get one that's a little bit better. That's a little bit different. That is recording all of the combat that's happening, and it's literally training AI so that your robot can be a better killing machine.
Well, Meta's already
if you don't think that's not, like, this is already happening, and who's gonna win in that? Like, I'm pretty sure, I like Meta for, Adara?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off the super chat. That's why I got all
No, go
of
ahead,
that.
go ahead.
But I think it's really interesting, too, because I was just watching the today, the congressional testimony on the situation with $5 trillion. Sorry. I'm trying to fix my mic and I'm making it worse, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think given that you've got the $1.5 trillion budget proposal here from the Department of Defense, I think things are going to get really spicy when it comes to the spending. And I think if they're trying to spend this much more money, I mean, regardless of how much the conflict is allegedly costing, I think it'll be really interesting to see if we start getting these devices, as mentioned here by Neil. So, I mean, I apologize for the mic issues there, but I think that's going to be probably a really interesting thing to watch going forward.
It's a really important point. Everyone thinks, oh, war over, spending goes down. That's not how it actually ends up working. Military spending, they always try to increase, so it just needs to find a new home. Right, like, it's always going up. There's little ebbs and flows, but that military spend worldwide, it's always going up. It just funnels into new places, and it's pretty reliable. One for you here, Arky.
Yeah. I get it, Joe. In that decision process can be much worse than a coin toss at times. In other words, just do it for my ADHD fam. Hey, I don't have the Stream Deck. Sorry, Ozan. I don't.
Do it. I wanted one of those. You ever seen? Was it Starsky and Hutch? The remake of Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller and what's the other, Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah.
There's a scene where he's like he makes up a character.
I remember that.
And his whole
I've
thing.
seen that for years.
I want a rum and coke. Do it. So he just runs around saying, "Do it," and that's the thing. So I want a button that takes that. I don't know. Fabian's not even.
Yeah, he's not
can't
here.
Hear me. Andre, I'll have to message Fabian. I want like that voice, because we can take a snippet from an audio clip and just Ben Stiller saying, "Do it."
Hey, that's a pretty good question. I'll take a couple steps back before. I wonder if we can just ask like a chat GPT, like, hey, take this clip from this movie and make it into a I wonder if we're there yet. But I wanted to add to your point and to Dara's point, just to add from a expenditure standpoint, where do most technological advances come from? War.
Well,
right, you know, it's
I mean, effectively, military spending.
Military to that next step.
Like, it's just, it's 100% true. Because no, but it's just it's such a reliable. It's a reliable source of capital that is constantly increasing, that is always trying to make, it's like there's a constant arms race for information, for technological superiority, and with a steady inflow of capital. And where do you find all of those things align? In military spending. So like it or don't like it, that's just the reality. The beer man says, I think 3 down days is where we switch direction. Hey, why not?
I could see us pulling back 5 to 7% and then continuing.
Oh, we got more. Super chats to the left of them, super chats to the right of them. Ian Rispetto for $4.99. Neil, I started a small position in ARM today at 201, looking to build it out. I think ARM spits hot fire like Dylan. What are the 5 greatest? I can't. I was going to say what are the 5 greatest chip companies of all time, and then I was going to say ARM, ARM, and ARM, but that's so unbelievably not true. I don't think. No, but I'd be lying if I told you. I've been an ARM believer. One of my biggest regrets was thinking that I was going to get cute and buy the dip on the earnings, or not earnings, on the IPO. Never did. Ended up buying the break and have been a buyer at or underneath 100 ever since. And now that we've broken out, long time breakout in ARM. Love that long consolidation for a break. The fact that they're going into their own chip making, I think, is great. They've got a good standalone business with an absolute stranglehold on mobile, any type of small mobile device. Their chip technology is by far the most energy efficient, which of course is even more important now. So they continue to win there, and now they're going to go into their own chip business, which they're going to say has 5x, technically 3x by 2028 in revenues, but then with their core business growth is like 5x. So you're getting another leg up. It's not cheap. You're still having to pay a pretty big premium for it, but when the expected growth is there, I like the pullback into prior highs, any chance that you can see that pattern. So for me, like I said, my plan of action was I sold 10% out in front, because every single time I'd always sell 10%, buy in here and sell 10% there and buy back in, blah, blah, blah. And now that it broke the high, I sold another 10, so I got 20 points to get back to a full position. So I take 10 here and 10 there, and if it pulled back even further, I want a bigger position, I might look at the moving averages. So that's just what I'm doing. So I can straight up say, this is what I am doing in my long-term account on ARM. I like it, I think it continues to grow. And I'm a fan, but I cannot say that it is the 5 greatest
chip
names. What are the 5 greatest? What's the Mount Rushmore of the AI trade right now?
Oh, that's easy.
Another super chat here.
I don't know if that's easy, but okay.
Hold that for a second.
Yeah.
Eclectic Passion, $3.33. You're gonna go Larry Bird on us. I was more of a Magic guy. My aunt is a huge Lakers fan, in love with Magic Johnson. Thanks for all the Neilish today. Flipper 2.
Bang.
Flipper, is it just me or you get the Flipper 2? Oh, you coin flipper. Okay, gotcha. Neilish what? Like we were just talking about flipping coin, and I still didn't even get it. No, Mount Rushmore.
Okay, so ask the question again, because I think
Mount Rushmore equities of the AI theme. I don't want to say chips, just the AI theme.
Okay, so that's where I was getting at there, because with that being said,
you settled on NVIDIA 1?
I have NVIDIA 1.
Well, there's no numbers on it.
Okay, yeah.
4.
NVIDIA, Google, Amazon, and we'll go with
Amazon.
You know why I'm saying that? Because of AWS. Now you're saying this whole thing doesn't work without the compute and cloud and neo cloud and everything along those lines.
Power.
Power, exactly. Well, then we can look at power. Are we going to be talking about the Bloom Energies? I don't know. But so my top 4 are going to be NVDA, Google, Amazon, and then I'm going to go with one more big name, and that's going to be AMD.
I feel like if I'm putting the Mount Rushmore out there, I don't like picking AMD and NVIDIA.
And that's fair.
I almost feel like I gotta have a little bit of everything.
You need a little bit of everything.
Do I need a memory? Do I need NVIDIA, Micron, Vernova, and what else? What else do I need? Do I want Caterpillar? No.
Ooh.
I feel like Caterpillar and Vernova can power and that level of infrastructure can live in the same space, and I want something else.
I think Caterpillar would be a good play.
I don't know what the fourth piece would be.
That'd be your 5-man right there, the Caterpillar. I really like that play.
Adara.
Yeah, I wanted to weigh in this. So I like that you said GEV, Neil, because I definitely think CEG belongs on there. I think you need something kind of
one of the two, yeah.
Space here in terms of who's bringing us the AI. So I'm putting CEG on there. I want to put NVIDIA. I'm going to put NVIDIA because I could, my man Jensen's got to get represented. Then I think we go TSM.
Ooh.
So I'm going to be a little bit out there here with the TSM.
No,
that's not out there. Of course, TSM.
Yeah.
I was searching for Adara 100%.
I agree.
You got to make the chips. They make 80%.
Yeah.
Right? I'm trying to think of the whole ecosystem.
Okay,
right?
but now if we're
TSM has to be.
Okay, but now if we're talking about
Adara's dead ass right.
No, she's right. No, she is. But if we're talking about the fabrication of the chips, TSM does that. But who is building the machines in order for them to do that? And then that's when we fall into the realm of ASML and applied materials, right? So I really like that you brought that up.
Give me Lam over AMAT.
You're taking Lam.
I would go Lam. I'd go ASML.
Yeah, Lam and
ASML, Lam, then AMAT in that order.
I really
AMAT doesn't have any business, because there's 2 better names in the same.
I like the cat play, right? So if we had a starting 5, I'm going NVDA, Google, Cat, ASML, and TSM. That's what I
think I can't make an argument against Google and NVIDIA. I feel like my power play'd be Juvernova. How can I not back the horse that I'm backing already? But I don't want to do them in cat. TSM is an absolute must.
TSM,
And then I'd probably lean toward, I don't want to say yeah, it could be ASML, but I think you could also just go with memory and pick a Micron there. But you know what? It's a fun one. Rivian Millionaire says, screw AMAT, bro. That's harsh. AMAT's, look, I don't want to
pull up the chart.
No, so
how are we going to even say that about this?
I don't remember what I said, but if I said something that sound derogatory toward AMAT, that's not what I was getting at. I was simply saying I personally prefer LAM or ASML. AMAT's chart is fire.
Fire.
Like there's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with them, and I would they probably compare very well to LAM on the chart.
Dude, look at this thing. Did you pull this up?
They're great. They're both great charts.
Smokes.
I'd make the argument that it's actually ASML at the moment that might be lagging in those three, but then they have the hard monopoly, right? So like there's
insane.
Yeah, like oddly enough, it's the stock that has historically been the best that's having trouble at the top here. But that's I'd still rank them in that order. They're all great.
From the August,
Corning is see Mrs. Law now like Corning.
Right, there's so many. There's a lot. This was you opened can of worms here. Yeah, Pandora's box. But if we want to look at it from a percentage performance standpoint, Applied Material has outperformed ASML.
Yeah, which is that's what I'm saying. Like,
right?
ASML has not been performing as well. There are some legitimate concerns that their advantage can be eaten into with not their technology. No one's replicating their technology.
No.
But it's just that they could have their advantage. Like their machines are super expensive. I think
super
expensive. Samsung was it Samsung that pushed back some orders a couple of years?
Maybe.
They said their new machine was 50% more expensive. We're not going to buy it in this round. We're going to wait a couple of years to make sure demand comes out.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not like that's. I trimmed ASML on that news. I even said it. Like Sharif and I were talking about it. He's like, he feels good about it. I was like, ugh.
I still feel good. I think that's just a little bit of noise.
I still like them. I still like them. That's It's still my pick out of the group. But there was enough that gave me some thought.
No, Adara said TSM.
The TSM is
the TSM is the
How do you miss TSM?
Yeah.
That's such an obvious. And I think this is why. Yeah, you know what? This is BMNR might be holding.
But Artemis is saying none of this happens without TSM. I agree. But then it comes the chicken and the egg.
Right now the market's going higher.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sort of seeing like it's okay. We gotta. Sometimes the word I like to use, the terminology, is get away with one. Look at the Qs.
Yeah.
Am I in something that's going up? Not really. But am I in something that's immune to the market racing into the imbalances? I don't think it's immune to it at all. And speaking of, it's past 317. I haven't even looked at these once. Oh, there it is. I put these on top of each other, so the imbalance located right here. Early look, Teladoc, 1 million to the sell, 1.1 million sell side, Pfizer, 1.1 million buy side, and nothing else. Teladoc is a stock that no one talks about till they report earnings or we see it on the imbalance locator, Cathie Wood special, and it's a hat size. It's not going well for you if the price of your stock is smaller than the average dude's hat size. And I don't know what the average hat size is, but I promise you it's around 7. So not going well for Teladoc. This was a small sell of 1.1. It's pretty significant. Actually, 1.1 million into 2.7 million is actually pretty decent. But if it's a sell imbalance, I'd be looking for the reversion at this point. Q's still looking pretty strong. NVIDIA is still climbing. That just continues to go higher. Dang it, Boomhauer. There goes NVIDIA. Not bullish enough. Well, you know what? There's a reason. There's a reason it starts on Mount Rushmore. Not because it's been performing the best. If you were to argue we just got that bid on BMNR. It's not about what's performing the best. It's just that if you got to consider standing. So what does it mean going forward? Its importance to the trade. What it's done before, or what it's done in the past matters, because Mount Rushmore is like it's just the GOAT. It has to hit on all cylinders. If it's a current play, it better have by far the best upside and the most importance going forward, or it also better have the best history. NVIDIA's got It's got everything. It's got the good history for it. It's got an absolute stranglehold on demand. That's the theme. I think that's why TSM was such an absolute no-brainer. Rushi Shaw, we have a super chat there. Again, we're getting a lot of super chats, but we're going to appreciate everybody. Just throw it up anytime you can there, Andre, because I'm not on the page. How about ASX, packaging material used by TSM? See, what I love about this is we're getting a million names out there. Now, granted, if you're saying starting 5 or Mount Rushmore, the entire point is to boil down something with a bunch of amazing names. We could go all day looking at charts like this and looking at different places and the winners, losers, sectors. There's just so many things that we could point to, and they're all fantastic. I think it's more important if you don't own anything, right? See this chart? See this chart? See that chart? Nobody should have FOMO. If your portfolio's got a few, you got a few names, it doesn't matter. You know, like I'm not crying. How much am I crying over AMD when I own Intel, NVIDIA, and GE Vernova, and Caterpillar, and ASML, right? So I'm not really crying about it. But if you don't own anything, any of these names, right, or maybe have a handle on what the next one to go is, then you're in trouble. And that's why we were talking about Constellation, a lot of us recently, and the fact that, and Sean and I both said this, and I think even one of our, it might have been Steve, it could have been Brian as well, who I don't think could make it today, unfortunately. It just, somebody explain to me, and I have not heard a good explanation for this, that's satisfactory in my opinion, as to why Constellation is not at the highs, why it is not performing better. What's the story here? Is it getting held down? Is this some sort of like Jedi mind trick that the institutions are holding this thing down so it can go parabolic later? Explain it to me. And every time I bring it up, I don't hear anybody say a lick. No one's saying a lick. And I remember there was a point, like literally last year we made our picks, and GE Vernova was one of my picks. I remember saying I like them the best, but you know what? I think you can't go wrong with Constellation either. That's good too. And I had no idea it would be this kind of divergence. I think that's pretty fortunate. But I think Constellation has a chance. I really do. And someone's saying it sold at a loss. Yeah, I don't get it. Why is it languishing so much? I like it too. I don't know why it's not going. The market just did a little bit of a slowdown. I just took the BMNR out there. I mean, ultimately, I didn't get see this candle? When I'm looking to add in front of VWAP, if you sit on the offer, I'll sit in a consolidation level off of a low. If I'm looking for an entry, a second entry or a new entry, I tend to like getting in after a top. See if it's going against me. Like, in a consolidation's fine. But if it's going up against, I want the breakdown. So this breakdown, there's no entries, too fast. Right? So as you try to get in, you don't get the fill there, that kind of a thing. But I just jumped out because it's holding that support, and I'm going to look for maybe one more opportunity. And I think it should be some kind of a trend break for myself. But actually, I really like that Mount Rushmore thing. You know why it's good?
That was a really good one.
It's not just because we get to sit there thinking about, okay, well, what do you like? Because it also tells me, okay, well, what do I want to dip by if we go back into another correction? Mm-hmm. It puts you to the test for that. If the bubble bursts, right? Where would you go to the bid? Because it should be the Mount Rushmore there. And then little things like Rushish, maybe bringing up a name like ASX that we don't really talk about as much. And that's why. Or something like Adair reminding us that TSM is fantastic. Little things along those lines.
Mount Chipmore. I like how you said if the bubble were to burst.
It's always an if.
Yeah. But I wonder where, I wasn't fortunately aware or I didn't know anything about the markets during the dot-com bubble. I wouldn't know some of the big differences aside from, I think maybe from a cash flow standpoint, like these guys had like just what we have now is
the biggest difference
is the cash.
Is the concern that everyone has is starts with the circle jerk and the hyperscalers. Mm-hmm. These are all companies that have levels of actual cash and revenues
opposed to what happened
in war chest that simply did not exist among the names that were the most trouble in the dot-com bubble burst. All of that being said, every bubble is different.
That's what
and
I'm saying.
The whole point behind if a bubble, because all runs are asset bubbles. They all are. We print money out of nowhere. That money chases whatever is great. It can be legitimately great and game changing, but at some point, that deeply M2 decreases for whatever reason. It could be economic, over leverage. There's a million reasons why it starts to happen. But when it does, then you see that massive flush. People say the R word, everyone freaks out, but it's just part of the market cycles, and they happen over and over again. It's usually a surprise. Something surprises you that causes it.
So
you're
exactly.
It's not really a bubble bursting if everyone is calling it.
So
it's not how it works.
Yeah.
It catches you off guard. That's
so
the whole point.
what I'm getting at, in order for this bubble to burst, wouldn't that also have to include individuals to stop using the tools that were created around this bubble? So you see what I'm getting at? So you have the OpenClaw, you have the Gemini tools, you have the ChatGPT, you have the Claudes and everything along those lines. So in order for that bubble to burst, wouldn't the monthly active users have to essentially fall off a cliff, so there's no longer that revenue stream starting to come into play, and you just totally throw all of the tool usage to the curb? Otherwise, as long as people continue to use these tools and adapt these tools in their day-to-day life, is there really any form of bubble
I would say
bursting?
that the only not necessarily, I would think, is you could have usage, you could just you just can't monetize it. Right? Like think of it this way. This is a horrible this is a horrible analogy, but I remember there's in the world of like philosophy and thinking and critical thinking, one of the things that stands true is if you're trying to make a difficult point, using an extreme example is a really... So an extreme example of that would be, look at the marijuana trade.
Yeah.
Do a ton of people, now it's legal, smoke marijuana? Absolutely
more
true.
People, yeah.
To the extent that less people are drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
That is an absolute huge shift. However, is it actually making money? Are the margins big enough that you can make enough money off of that usage? So it's not necessarily enough that everyone is utilizing AI.
Yeah.
It needs to still generate the revenue. And that was the problem with marijuana, which it was never going to.
Yeah.
If we were being smart enough. And we all got bag held, but I think in hindsight it was like, why the heck did we actually
and think there was something about, well, I mean, if you think fundamentally behind that is like, okay, more people using it, then you would see more revenue stream. But what ended up happening, and I'm not saying this is going to be necessarily the case with this trade, but a race to the bottom, therefore undercutting every other individual and dwindling margins. Do you think that can happen? I think someone brought up a good point within that, but I mean, a lot of that had to do with the marijuana space. Is like, who can sell the cheaper product and just be willing to accept that lower margin?
Well, if you use that analogy, the problem is AI has far too many use cases in broad swaths across the economy. So there's room for way more winners.
There is. So, but then my point to that would be, what if all of the players become so equally leveled? Now it gets to the point where, hey, all these tools can do the same function. You download this one product, you put it on your PC, and it can be a multi-function. Now the playing field becomes so level, these tools become so advanced, and they can do essentially the exact same thing. Do you see a race to the bottom at that point?
I don't know. I think, you know what, that's when, there's times that you just got to think about it. You know what my brain immediately went, by the way, something's happening in Meta here. No imbalance, but it's running into the imbalance. Let's look out for a bit of an imbalance here on Meta, just on the off chance. Maybe somebody knows something.
Yeah,
it's NASDAQ, so you won't get an early look. Was UiPath always there?
Go look at Apple too.
Apple as well?
Yeah, Apple's breaking out.
No, what I was going to say was, got sidetracked by the market, and I've lost my train of thought. It was, I'm a big science fiction person, and science fiction tends to get some big broad strokes correctly. In pretty much every science fiction story or themed universe where you have AI, it always ends up where like one rules them. I don't think I've read something where there's an artificial intelligence where one just rises above all. Where seems to be the vision. Like if it achieves the point where it's the most efficient thing and it runs everything, then why would there be 10? There'd be one.
Yeah.
Like if one is just the greatest, it runs it all. Almost all science. And so look, this is great for Apple. Apple all-time highs with the market not up. The market's down 1.2, 1.25 here. Like this is an absolute rocket ship here. I know it's only up 0.7, but you got to put some context on this. Remember a couple of weeks ago, it was like Apple is going to be the most boring moving thing until the all-time highs. Apple has been the most boring moving thing into all-time highs.
Yeah, but it's
just how they roll. And at some point, Apple is going to do some, not NVIDIA-like things. I guess it'd be like an AMD. Maybe not AMD, but just a little bit more parabolic, which I wouldn't even call this. It reminds me somewhat of Alphabet. When Alphabet was trending up and then just exploded more. Go back to late 2025. This is the gut feeling. Like Apple is going really boring channel into the highs, and then once it starts an acceleration, we do have, of course, mid-year their events coming up, so that'll be when they put up or shut up that they've really figured things out. But yeah, I feel like Apple is really headed for that not boring break higher incoming. Great stock. With only about 20 minutes to go here, it's still just Pfizer, UiPath. Losing, what's UiPath doing? 23 million on the day, 1 million's nothing. I'm gonna ignore that imbalance on UiPath. 1 million shares is a nothing burger into 20 million, but you know what, the stock's at the low. Sell imbalance at the low means it can be a flip off the bottom. Right at $10 too. Okay, that'll go on the side chart.
Yeah, there was a lot of people talking about the recovery in the overall market. As Neil was talking about Meta starting to break out, I was looking at this consolidation here on Apple, and sure enough, I tried to just phase out some of this noise, and you can see this curl over here. So that inverse turtle shell, and then if we just weave out a little bit more, now it's later in the day, but when the market is selling aggressively and you have this name that's just consolidating, and then eventually you have the market and participants start to step back in, well, what was something that was relatively strong, even though it wasn't just crazy appreciation, it wasn't selling, there was no one engaged. You see it break through some of those tops, so not too bad of a look there. Gaurav, I know you were long Apple from earlier in the day, so hopefully you caught that breakout. And I mean, we only got 20 minutes or half an hour left in the day, so plenty of time for this to continue to climb. And what a recovery here. Someone asked if we were going to see $224 on NVDA by the end of the session. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought we would close closer to the lower end of the range, but now we're only down 1.2% off of that high and $3 off of that previous all-time high. And I like what Neil was talking about. It's literally all last week, I'm pretty sure, Apple was putting in new all-time highs, starting from Tuesday. Or sorry, the previous Friday puts in an all-time high, then comes back on Wednesday, you guessed it, all-time high. Oh yeah, Thursday, all-time high. Friday, yeah, you guessed it, all-time high. And then here we come on Monday, on Tuesday, putting in an additional all-time high. So a lot of positive things going on, and the exact same thing was going on with NVDA. Just day after day for the past couple of sessions, it's just been putting in new market highs, and the same with the NASDAQ. I did not think...
You know what it's not doing?
What's that? Which one, NVDA?
NVIDIA is never, no matter how badly it pulled back, it's not breaking the prior low.
Exactly.
Right, like so.
Exactly.
Since its most recent up move, hold, even consolidation higher, breaks higher, threatening, holds the prior day low, really threatened today, holds the prior day low again, and then bounces. So that's what you like to see. Like whatever buy support gets established on Monday is holding on Tuesday. And then in theory, right? So I haven't been overtly super biased in this until recently. Like I don't think I've looked necessarily short on NVIDIA. Just maybe try to find some scalp longs. There was one day it got chopped up, and then another day that was good, and then there's always going to be the days where I take like a third or half the move. But again, just looking for those breakout levels. Maybe just find a way to get back into it. But I think this is like the same way Apple's like a bull continuation case. I think NVIDIA can be that. Whereas I would not say the same thing about AMD. I would not say the same thing about Intel. I would not say the same thing about Micron. Those are finding resistance. Those are finding like tops. Like AMD today was a pullback day. Show me you can get and hold back above 450. Micron, Show me you can get back and hold above 770 area. Like, these are charts that all look Intel. That would be the 124, that key price, that key support level from before. They need to do that. NVIDIA doesn't need any of that. NVIDIA's got the baton, and they're heading down the straight like Usain Bolt. I could say somebody now, but whatever, man. I'm not saying Noah Lyles. I'm gonna say, y'all don't know Noah Lyles. Everybody knows Usain Bolt. If I say running down the straightaway like Usain Bolt, everybody knows what I'm talking about, and only true track fans know who Noah Lyles is, the world's fastest man.
DeGrasse. I met, my cousin said that I met DeGrasse, but
You met DeGrasse?
Yeah, apparently. He's around the same age as me.
Oh, for real? You know what's jokes? I didn't run into him, like, saw him in the lineup at the airport once in his sweats. He had his, like,
really?
he had his things on. I'm like, I know who that is. I see you, but whatever. He had the. Let's go to Adara at the desk. That's Canada's fastest man is DeGrasse. You guys have no idea who we're talking about.
Keep an eye here in LUNR. This one's pushing higher here into the close. Company announcing that they're going to be selected by the U.S. Space Force Space Systems Command for the Andromeda IDIQ contract. So Intuitive Machines here, LUNR, they report earnings on Thursday morning, and today they're receiving a contract from Space Force. Back to you.
Quote.
And then you say,
Thank you very much. I was explaining the story to them. I was explaining the story to Joe when we saw Andre DeGrasse. So I don't remember where we were going, whatever. It was one of our trips where my family was going to somewhere, and we're in line. Didn't want to wait in the check-in line. So you go to whether or not you're actually wanting to upgrade, you just go into the first class or business class line anyways.
Yeah.
And when you get up there, be like, hey, I just want to look to see if I can upgrade. And when they'll give you like, okay, well, base blowout is going to cost this much. It's like, you know what? Maybe the next time, and then they'll just check you in.
Yeah, I like that.
My dad used to pull that because sometimes he'd travel and he would upgrade if it was a good price, and if it's not, then he just skipped the line.
Yeah.
It's a win-win. Maybe you get a good deal, and then next thing you're sitting in business class or first class, or you don't get a deal, and you don't have to wait in line with everybody else. That was.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Maybe I'll try that next time.
I'm telling you, life is all about like the little hacks that you can find. Just the little things.
It is.
Not that I actually think it's necessarily always worth it.
A
long flight, maybe.
I wanted to talk about. Selena came back from. She was visiting some friends in London. Anyway, she had a connecting flight in Halifax, and then obviously what happens. The luggage gets left in Halifax, and she had some candies. I mean, call it, my brother.
It happens, man. There's not much you can do.
No, there's nothing you can do. So hopefully, and they said they'll reimburse her for anything that was in the luggage, right? So I'm like, go buy a new Apple Watch, and then if you can get the luggage back, then by all means, right? So maybe I can get myself an Apple.
You know what? It's one of those things that if it happens to you, it seems like the end of the world, but it's.
Dude,
not.
You want to know the honest truth? I've only had one connecting flight ever. I've refused to, but I've also never gone across the pond. Oh. So I've only had one connecting flight. I tried to avoid that. Back into reality here a little bit, guys, even though I know we're currently sitting in. I wanted to talk about NVDA's expected move. We're sitting around 3.84% right now. That is going to be reporting sometime next week, either Tuesday or Wednesday or something along those lines. So next Wednesday, I believe. Today's the 12th. Today's the 12th. So on Wednesday, May 20th, we have NVDA reporting, looking at a 3.8% expected move. So up or down 3.8%. That's going to put us around a high of around $212 or high of $229. Okay. All right, here we go. Cheese of questionable origins. Okay. Afternoon, guys, take a peek at VCX. It's way too volatile for me, for sure, but have you ever seen a stock that big move so violently on the daily? Well, I can answer if we're being literal here, Avis Budget Group was probably one of the largest down days that I've personally seen. But let's see with this one, if this can compare. I know we've been talking about it a little bit here today. I don't even know what this company does, to be honest.
Cheese of questionable origin.
Yeah, he said something the other day that just had me hysterical. Fundrise innovation. Let's head over to the daily. I mean, that's nothing crazy. Like if we're looking at this from the daily, you open up at 246. You're now trading at 262, and then now you have a low of around 195 and a high of around $300. Or sorry, 250. Yeah, well, okay, that's not, I mean, 52% within a day. Yeah, $200 all the way up to $300. Okay, then, yeah, there it is, 50% within a day. There was a lot going on with that.
It's VCX. What's in it? I'm just gonna.
It's an ETF.
It's a. No, what's under the hood?
I can figure that out.
Yeah, that's what I would want to know, is what's under the hood. Do you think I don't see you in the chat? Rich Neil is a habitual line stepper.
I don't even know what that means.
Line cutter. Oh, line cutter. So I'm going to defend myself for a second. I don't think that move at the airport is cutting in line. Right? Like, as long as if there is an actual chance that I'm going to upgrade my seat, I'm not going into that line as if there's no chance I'm doing it.
Oh, I see.
There are some times. Yeah, see, Vancouver Island says it trades at a crazy NAV. I always look under the hood for those.
Anthropic, Databricks, OpenAI.
Oftentimes, these things really do trade a little bit whack, but no, that's not line cutting, man. If you do that every single time and 0 times you upgrade, then okay, fine, you're really just cutting the line. Come on, man. In high school, I worked at a theme park. I worked at Canada's Wonderland in high school for a summer. Great job, but trust me, you cut the line on my ride, we're gonna have a problem.
Oh.
I was that dude. I'm calling you out. If I'm on the op, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I see you in the blue hat. I'm gonna send somebody. You're out of my line. We don't play that. Straight up. And then it'd be clap for you and everything.
Yeah.
And the best part is
crazy.
Yeah, there's some stories that I can't tell. Anyways, it's a fun job. Working at a theme park as a high school, you're 17 years old and you're working at Canada's Wonderland in the summer. It doesn't pay well. It's a trash job to make money. I made my money working nights at supply chain place, loading trucks. If you want to make money, you do that.
Yeah.
But that job was for fun for a few months. It was a lot of fun. Adara.
I was going to say, I was hired at Wonderland in summer of 21, and I didn't take it. And now hearing you talk about it, I'm like, maybe, because it's not practical, like you said, right? And I think also, with transit and stuff, it can be but it just sounds like it would have been so fun.
You have to hustle.
What position did you apply for, Adara?
Where'd you try to work?
It was kind of very nebulous. I think it was working as an usher at the little kids stage, but they kind of give you the vibe you could have done a couple other things. I'm assuming I would have done other things as well.
You don't want that job. So I'll tell you.
Really?
I'll tell you where you want to work. If you work at a theme park, you want to work on rides. You want to work in food. You don't want to work in games. You don't want to work in any of the other stuff. If you work in rides, you know everybody that works rides. And when you visit the park for free, you don't have to wait in line because I know everybody at the exit. Yeah. So every time I visit the park, I'm pretending I have an exit pass and I'm walking up the line. Then you got to know people in food because let's be real, the hustlers work in food because the hustlers find ways to make a little bit of extra cash on the side and therefore can hook you up a lot of times. So they can hook you up in the food side. They can hook you up. There's always easy ways to do it. We had a buddy in high school. He worked. Sean and I, we knew this. He wasn't even legal age and he was able to. He was the guy serving the keg with some 17-year-old kid who's our friend. So I'm just saying it was fun. The underage drinking is bad. Carl Spackler, I just changed the subject because ignore that I just said that. I didn't say his name anyway, so it doesn't matter. If they followed the Melania film on plane, people would still walk out. If they showed the Melania film on plane, people would still walk out. Carl Sparkler, Amazon. Would they? I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen it. I don't want to call it out for something that I haven't seen. I wouldn't guess that it would be exciting to watch. But let's talk about Amazon anyways, because we have about 7 minutes till the imbalances come in here. And the market, what I love about this market is when it's bad, it's good. We get a down day where pretty much everything looks trash. Right? Like the market's down still 1%, even with this bounce. Amazon's chart doesn't look like, it's not a bullish chart. You lose support and we drop down heavily. You go out to the top. It's a break trend, kind of like a start of the break of trend. A lot of things look like this, but we're still finding a lot of buying going into the close. Hold VWAP and then buying into the close. Key on some of these consolidation levels. Can they hold? Can it hold 64 tomorrow? I think that's going to be the key. I like Amazon. I don't know if I put Amazon in there. We did the Rushmore thing, Mount Rushmore of AI. I don't know if I can go to Amazon there. I just don't think, I just feel like if you're going to be on the Mount Rushmore, you really got to stand out. Do they stand out? Does AWS stand out as the best cloud play? No, because the best growth is over in Alphabet. I think you can't put Amazon on the Mount Rushmore because you can. If you want to go that route, then you better put Google on there.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
You better put Google on there
fair.
first.
That's
I don't
fair.
think you can. You put AMD if you got to put NVIDIA first.
Yeah.
You can't put Intel because you got to put TSM first.
Yeah, that's
I think
fair.
along those lines. But that was fun to do.
That was
but
really
just
good.
to get back to brass tacks, with 5 minutes to go, there's still not much on the locator here. ET. Don't even know what that is. CanView is always there. Pfizer, UiPath, like we said before. I like that sell amount because it's at the low of the day. So if this flips or pairs off, there's a trade-off potentially off the $10 level. But this is a crazy, crazy turn. I really hope. Okay, so yeah, the one thing I was looking at for the continuation didn't really give you much of anything else. All he did was get back in and try to fade BMNR and take a scalp off of NVIDIA, and that was kind of okay. But it's more of like a good day, just try to top it off for what you can. If you weren't, I'm not a Qs guy. I've always found, and some people like Sean likes the futures. I know, Joe, you like the futures.
Yeah.
I've always found one of the biggest edges in day trading is the ability to like an individual equity or instrument more because of what it's doing relative to something.
Yeah.
That is always a part of my thinking, which precludes me a lot of times from trading the Qs because it's I'll look at USO every single day, but then try to have trades off of it that I like this, but I like it more because of what USO is doing because USO is leading things. We're being moved around by the Qs and the tech trade, so therefore I can trade something else off of that. My confluence is the Qs getting support or resistance. My confluence is the Qs breaking a trend or getting to a key level, and then I'm going to trade this thing. Well, that's why sometimes I'll trade BMNR with an eye on what's happening in ETH and IBIT. I just, in trading, to me, edge is that one extra layer. That's what I'm always looking for, which means I'm oftentimes not trading the thing that is leading, if that's the futures, which is fine. And it's a great instrument to trade. I get it. People make money off it all the time. Let's go to Adair.
Keep an eye on AAPL here. It's near intraday highs and all-time highs, and I'm getting some reports that the company is going to be intends to release a customizable camera app aimed at pros, so professional photographers, for iOS 27. This is going to be unveiled on June 8th, which will be the Monday, the keynote day of WWDC, and also Tim Cook's final WWDC as CEO of Apple. Once again here, Apple reportedly planning to launch a customizable camera app in just under 1 month at the WWDC Worldwide Developers Con, June 8th, Monday, keynote. We'll have to wait and see if this camera comes to pass, but interesting stuff, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much there, Adair, as all. Oh, we're not using the button.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dara.
I haven't hit that button all week. My bad. Okay, first of all, Richard, I never encouraged theft. I think you're misconstruing the story. I was simply relating a story of the advantages of developing certain relationships when in a certain work environment, and how developing and networking those relationships can give you certain advantages in life. I'm not advocating theft. I worked on rides. I might let the occasional person up the exit line, but I wasn't five-fingering in the food line. That was what other people did. I'm not naming any names, all right? I didn't say who did it. I'm just simply saying I knew who did it, and if I happen to get a discount on a burger every now and then then that's what was happening. I know you guys are just joking around. No, man, I love the trolls are fun. That's part of what makes it engaging.
That's what it's all about.
I'm not. Two things. We're live talking all day long.
I gotta make sure that Raquel doesn't throw my lunch out though.
Yeah, you should. Dude, it's 3:50.
I know, man.
His lunch's probably gone. He's gonna go and check his lunch. His lunch is gone. You gotta go. She's thrown it out by now. It's been sitting there for 3 hours. No, I'm just saying, if we're sitting here talking all day long, what's the fun of not engaging? That's sort of the idea. I want to respond, and you'll often see me do this too. If someone says something that I disagree with, I'm pretty likely to want to engage with that person. And sometimes I'll do it in the chat. I'll just respond and say, hey, this is what I think, good point, or I disagree with you for this reason, and then I want to hear from you. I'll just openly ask you guys a question. Like, remember all the times, and I'm going to say it one more time, when I keep saying, somebody explain to me why CEG is not performing as well as it should in the AI trade. What makes GEV so much better? I like GEV. But why shouldn't this be going higher? I'm not asking that rhetorically. I am genuinely asking the community. What's the reason not to have this be a catch-up trade? Am I missing something? If I don't understand something, my default action is I am wrong, I am missing something. And then I work to try to figure it out so you're confident that you have all of the information. Part of that comes from engaging with people that have an opposite opinion, that see things a different way. That's the biggest value in this community, is that there's lots of you watching every single day and diversity on the trading desk so that we can work through things and see, hopefully, as much of the light as possible. It's good. It's the ultimate free roll for groupthink among like-minded or similarly minded individuals, or at least individuals with similar, whoops, I don't want my quote board, with similar interests. So we have some buy imbalance on, where was it? NVIDIA there, 1.5. It kind of disappeared on me. Poet's a sell of 2 million. Peloton's a sell of 1.9 million. Just going to go to NVIDIA for a second. QUBT, 1.2 million to the sell side. BMNR is a sell of 1.1. Of course it is. I got out of that short. Teledoctor. Palantir is a buy of 1 million. Tesla's a buy, mostly buy side, I'm thinking here. Market is 2.6 billion to the buy side. NASDAQ 1.2. That's pretty significant. There they are, the imbalances right there. Headlined by NVIDIA and the 1 point. That's really NVIDIA? Okay, so NVIDIA pulls back, barely bounces on that buy imbalance. All right, I guess we'd gone too far, and it's not really causing any action. What about Tesla? Didn't I see Tesla? Is it gone now? There it is. 1 million to buy on Tesla, barely moved. I guess the problem would be we've already run so much in the afternoon that we're not getting that continuation buy there. But the last push up on the Qs, you could likely attribute that to 2.6, like this candle right here, 2.6 billion to the buy side. It's mostly buy imbalances outside of small cap companies. The NASDAQ is going to get back, not to green, but we have an almost clear V-shaped recovery on what you would think looks like a reversal candle prior day and a reversal play today. This makes it very interesting tomorrow, because up until the last 5-10 minutes, I was like, yeah, this is all nice, but why wouldn't I still be thinking shorts tomorrow? All the best trades were shorts today.
So
all the best trades were shorts today.
Or do we fall? Thank you very much for that. I appreciate all of you guys, man, especially the ones who are just put nothing but positivity within the chat. We're still sitting in this IBIT trade, but you're thinking about
that-ish.
Yeah, we got 9 minutes, man. I should mock that.
If you're in at 352.
And hangry, always hangry, save man, woman, mint, everybody in the chat. I truly appreciate all you guys. I like your haircuts, as always. Be thankful, for sure, man. There's every single one, and if I happen to forget your name, Gorev, who's been in the chat for quite some time. We'll do the shout out at the end of the day. Rivian Millionaire, Ozan, how could we forget? Crouchy Tiger, Hidden Rally, everyone, Pops Mafia, who always messaging me. Sorry, I can't get into my DMs. Lemons family. He always wants me to tell you some things, because Pops Mafia is a big Bills fan. You know that, right? He's like the king, the epitome of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why, Pops? Why don't you talk to me?
You tag him. He's always tagging me. But no, I wanted to talk a little bit about this. Did I hear go to Adair? I want to mention something quick. IBIT still continuing to climb, and then as for the imbalances, and Neil talking about going short for tomorrow. I agree. We had a strong recovery, but is this the start of something a little bit bigger? Maybe, potentially, possibly. Yeah. Only time will tell. I think a lot's going to be determined on how we open up and how the blue ocean activity is tomorrow night. With that being said, let's send it over to Adair. We'll get into some more talk about what we think is going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow's trade today took that one from Sean as we go over to Adair.
So let's talk about BF.B. This is Brown-Forman. We know this one has had a couple different acquisition bids for it over the last couple months or so. Now, this came out a while ago, as you can see, probably about 15 minutes ago. I'm just seeing the actual story come out now. But Wall Street Journal reporting that Jack Daniels maker Brown-Forman, BF.B, just rejected a roughly $15 billion takeover offer from Sazerac, which is a rival in the field. So again, Wall Street Journal reporting BF.B rejected a takeover offer valued at $15 billion. Also, while I have you here, we have infographics always. Alibaba, with this very youthful-looking man, Eddie Wu, as CEO, they're going to be reporting earnings tomorrow morning. And if you're like, hey, I didn't know Alibaba was reporting earnings, what am I going to do? How am I going to prepare? Check this out on X at TTV Research. It is out. I'm going to repost it a couple minutes ahead of the report, which is at 5:30 a.m. Yeah, we're always here, guys. Traders stay late, and traders also prepare early. Back to you.
A lot of love in the chat, man. You guys are extremely positive. I'm going to give a special shout out to NYC Urbanista. Are you familiar with her?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So anyways,
course.
she said something. She's like, Joe, I know something's up with you. And I was just like, there's some things going on. Milo was getting sick and stuff like that. And she's like, I know, even though I didn't project it or anything, she's just, I know you've been quiet today and I know something's up with you. And she was right. I didn't say anything. And I said thank you to her.
Going on with Milo?
Yeah. This was a while back. Yeah, when he was sick, right?
Yeah, don't do that.
No, he's all right now. But she's like, she knew something was going on. I didn't specify what it was, but she's like, yeah, I know my son. He goes quiet. He doesn't like to talk or anything along those lines. He just holds it in until something's said. And she recognized that. So yeah, that meant a lot, and I thanked her for it a while ago. So thank you, NYC, and thank you everybody in the chat. So
we love you. Like that's one of the most humbling things I find about the show. Is that like we'll have viewers that will watch, and like it's easy. It's so different from the other side here. Because if you're on our side, like we're talking to a camera, we know each other, we see some of the regulars out there. But then you'll have somebody who is like just like really paying attention, and then connects on something that's like, oh, you mentioned this before. Hey, I'm asking about this. Like it is really humbling. Like you might have mentioned something that's happening with the family, and then like a week later, it's like, hey, how's your pops doing? As you mentioned, it's like, what? You remember this? Like I don't even know you. Like that is, it's like the ultimate. That's what humanity is all about. We have the best community out there, straight up. And Taylor Batty, who sometimes I don't know if you're trolling me or whatnot, when I simply said, okay, so I will correct my statement. All of my best trades were shorts today. There were banger longs. Promise you there were fantastic longs off the lows. I get it. If you had Meta today, Meta, how far do I have? Again, never the first thing in the drop down. If you had Meta off of the open long, great. That's closing at the highs. If you had Apple, that's maybe not, it was closing at the highs. Now I'm just jinxing stuff. It's basically there. Now the daily chart's at all-time highs, so it looks much better if I cheat that way. No, but like all my best trades were like things like BMNR, which was weak, and Rigetti, which was weak to the downside, SMCI, which is relatively weak. And I still look at, I look at some of the things that were on the list and never got the prices. Like I thought this was a push a little bit in a prior close here for Intel. Even if this, like, does that look bullish to me? That still looks bearish. AMD's looking a little bit better. Like if it could close more of the V, it's still where you open up tomorrow, but there's enough out there that still looks a little bit weak. I'm not completely believing in this. Have we not seen this party before where you have that strong, we have that long continued uptrend? I'm just gonna go back to the Qs for a second. A long continued uptrend, what looks like a bit of a top forming, then we get the pullback day, but it does the little bit of a bull trap on us. And then here, something happens overnight, we're opening back up under 700, and all that buying just kind of got trapped. We're still underneath that top resistance or consolidation level. We never broke through it, so why are we confident that buys in here are gonna push through? If buys in here and we don't push through overnight, then what happens when we're losing under 700? Like that short-term buyers are gonna be dumping out and you get some flat bottom breaks. So there's enough of a trap that I gotta have an open mind tomorrow. And then remember, we started today off with a relatively hot CPI print, and we're gonna get PPI tomorrow. Well, what if that's also hot?
Yeah.
That's still, like, I love the fact that the market's going higher. I love the fact that we have a V shape, but I'm not sitting there just blindly like, okay, we're back into the longs. Like today was a mostly short focused, and that worked out for
Unless this turns out to be the ultimate, like, I mean, a dip buy, like you sell off a little bit here, and then sure enough, the market brushes off PPI tomorrow, kind of like it did CPI in the latter half of the session. And the next thing you know, we're at all-time highs once again by the end of the week.
The market has had enough strength that is definitely in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, absolutely.
This market is capable of that. I just don't want to assume it because the shorts were so good today into some upward pressure going into the open. Right, like we were gapped down and we pressed into the open, and then fell. So I don't want to completely give it up. Before we have 1 minute to go, I want to read from Lemon Family if I can find it.
Lemons.
Here it is. I just wanted to throw this up because I saw this note here and it's a good one we get. I've been watching you guys since COVID and lost my job. Something to do, but almost stopped watching because you always shorted stuff. It was the running joke. Glad I stuck around. You know what? I will cop to it that if you find, like, the market's generally going up, and if one of your favorite setups is mean reversion, then oftentimes that means shorting pullbacks into VWAP in uptrends because the market's usually going up. And I think you begin to realize, like, I'll be the first person to tell you, in my life, I have never swung short anything ever. I have never had a swing trade short in my entire life. Any short I've ever taken has only been as a day trade. To me, I consider myself a bull. It doesn't always seem that way, but I consider myself a bull. But I'm glad you stuck around there, Lemon Family.
Yeah,
let's close it up in 3, 2, and 1. Make sure your orders are canceled. Make sure if you're day trading, you've covered your positions. Make sure, and by Black Ops trading, no swing short ETFs either. I've just never done it. I'm not saying I would never do it. I've just never done it. Obi does it all the time. Like, every time I talk to that guy, I like this swing short, I like that swing short. It's just not me.
No.
I just find, like, if overall the market's constantly going up, I just find it easier to find long trades if I'm swing trading. And for day trading's a different beast. Day trading requires you to just go with the flow that day. Take what the market gives you in that day. Take the setups that are available. I never found swing trading to be as simple. For sure. But no, well, thank everybody for tuning in. We got a bunch of super chats. It's really fun having the conversation with everybody to the best of our ability, answering questions.
Absolutely, man. Adara likes it. We enjoy it. I mean, it's great to be a part of this. Great to have everyone in the chat, all the positive ones. And I hope everyone had a fantastic day. That's for sure. Adara's waving back there. Oh, you chime in, man. You
get in there.
Yeah. I don't know. You were just waving. It sounded like you're
waving goodbye to
okay, yeah. So that's what I mean. You can chime in, say goodbye to everyone. Always be thankful. Joe does the rundown. No, I don't. On Thursday and Friday and Monday, I'll be joining Neil and the team, and we'll be doing the rundown. But
hockey tournament in Minnesota. Sean's daughter has a hockey tournament in Minnesota, doing big things there. And it's also a long weekend here in Canada.
Midwest strong. Shout out. I'm like, if you're from Winnipeg, you were driving to Minnesota or North Dakota like every other weekend for some dance or sports tournament or another. So I gotta shout out the fact that it's randomly Minnesota from Ontario.
Minnesota.
Well, there it is. Shout out to Minnesota. It's Big Ten country, so I'm a fan of that. Why not? That's the best. I didn't go to American school, but I always pick the Big Ten. A lot of Canadians do, so we'll shout them out. Bang. It's still going to be a big day tomorrow. Love the V-shaped recovery that we got. Does it mean that was all the selling? We're right back into highs? I'm not completely convinced of that. The shorts are really good today. You'll find out tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock where we sit. We get CPI, we're going to get PPI later on, and that should determine how tomorrow goes. So we're Trader TV Live. Rest up. Enjoy your evening. We're going to see you bright and early at 8 a.m. Joe, thanks for stepping into some big shit.
Anytime, man. Let's rock and roll. Trade safe, everyone. I don't have the Stone Cold. We don't have the Stone Cold, so that was a little bit of a lackluster close off there.
We're supposed to hit the button, then you get the Stone Cold music, and then you fade to black. We don't have it, so Andre, we're just gonna have to fade. We're gonna have to fade to black.
Oh man,
you messed that up.
I didn't have the Stone Cold, man.
Stone Cold, man.
Nice work, brother.